Hey guys, it's Russell back, and on today's video I need to make an updated procedure for the transmission fluid exchange that I did a year ago on the 2006 Toyota Tundra. I had one comment that when I showed how to do the fluid exchange, I put the AMSOIL in there, and then I showed you guys how to check the the procedure to check the fluid level in the Tundra. And I had one comment that said, hey, the factory service manual says to check it at a different temperature than you checked it at. And I'm going to show you, there's a little problem that I found out, but I'm going to show you how to fix that. So originally, I got the directions here. This is the online version. If you go into a Toyota or Lexus dealership and they need to look up procedures like the online factory service manual, they have these procedures right here. And I got this from a Lexus master mechanic. And on here, it says that on the 750, it's a 750E transmission, which is what this truck has, that you are to check the fluid when it's between 97 and 115 degrees. All right, so I'm going to show you guys right there. You check it between 97 and 115 degrees. Now, there's a problem. If you go online, and you can, I just printed out a portion of this, you can go and find the factory authorized Toyota Tundra service manual. Well, it says that for the 750E transmission, that it needs to be between 115 and 130 degrees. It's a problem. So this manual right here was written when the truck came out. This online version that the dealerships have was actually, this was last modified on 2019. So this is a later version. So there is a discrepancy. I would say that if you went into a Toyota dealership, they're going to tell you to do the 97 to 115. But those of us that do our own work, or maybe some other mechanics at different shops, they have this service manual and it says to do it between 115 and 130. So what is the correct answer? Well, since I did it at 97 to 115, it's possible that if that was incorrect, then my transmission is slightly overfilled, because if I had checked it between 115 and 130, the fluid would have expanded a little bit more, so I would have gotten a little bit more out of the transmission at that temperature range. I don't think it would have been much. But there's a third thing that we can do, and let the truck, we're going to let the truck tell us at what temperature we're supposed to be checking this at. All right. There is a procedure, the exact same procedure in both of these manuals, that show you how you can do a certain jump. You can jump the ODB2 connector, and it shows you exactly which pins to do. All right. So if I go here, we're going to jump pins 4 and 13. And then there's a procedure that you move the shift lever between park and drive within 1.5 seconds. And you do that for 6 seconds, and it will activate the automatic transmission oil temperature. All right. So what this will do is we're going to let the truck, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. We're going to let the truck tell us what's the right temperature, because right now I don't know which is the correct temperature. So it's confusing. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and we'll just let the truck tell us at what temperature we're supposed to be checking it at. All right, so let me go ahead and start the truck up. It's been, it hasn't been driven since yesterday. So I have a scan gauge connected here that I always have connected, and we see that our transmission temperature is 77 degrees right now. So this is reading the data stream that the computer sees. So I will need, in order to do the procedure that either of these two manuals want us to do, I'm going to have to remove this, but I wanted to show you guys that we're starting at 77 degrees. And let me let me get everything set up, and I'm going to show you which 2 pins to jump, and then I will also show you the procedure that we will use to put it in the transmission temperature check mode. So we'll do that next. All right, so if we look at the pin diagram, we can see that we have to go 4 over to number 4 on the long side, and then 5 over on the short side. And you have to remember that this is upside down, so make sure that you do the right pins. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just have a very thin piece of wire gently placed in there. That is the connection that we need to make. And I'll show you the procedure that we need to follow at the gear shift indicator. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start the engine. Then it says to quickly move the shift lever between neutral and drive for 1.5 seconds for 6 seconds. All right, see, we got the ATF, so it went on. All right, see the transmission oil temperature came on, and it's supposed to come on and go off. And then when we get to the proper temperature, it will come on again. And then if it exceeds the temperature, it will start blinking. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let this sit here and idle until that transmission temperature comes on again. I'll show you guys what it looks like, and I'm assuming all these blinking lights are normal because it's in a diagnostic mode. So we'll let the transmission temperature light come on, which means we've reached the correct temperature, and then I'll turn the engine off, and we will I'll take that out and hook the scan gauge back up, and we'll see what temperature it wants to check at, and that'll tell us which of these 2 procedures are correct. So I'll come back as soon as that's on. All right, so the automatic transmission oil temperature light just came on, and as we can see, the scan gauge is saying that this is 96 degrees. So yeah, between 96 and 115. So I'm gonna say that the directions in the factory service manual, which say to do it between 115 and 130, are incorrect. The truck told us exactly where it wanted to be. And there's something else in the directions. All right, in this directions that I use here that say do it between 97 and 115, it said after I put the lever back to park that I need to remove the jumper. Okay, it said nothing about removing the jumper here. I don't know if that would make a difference. It would lead you to believe you're supposed to leave the jumper there, but clearly we see that the AT oil temperature light has come on, and there may be a 1 degree variance as far as this really, I guess technically should say 97, but you know, that could be 96.99, we don't know. But anyway, so I'm gonna say that these updated directions are the ones that are correct. So if you did the fluid check between 115 and 130 and you let out enough fluid, technically you're going to be slightly underfilled, because as the fluid expands you're going to let more out than really should be. So I'm glad that we figured this out. So if you definitely want to do it this way, if you don't have a data stream, then you can follow the directions here. Just you know, if you've got this transmission, just use 97 to 115. So I'm going to well, let's let this Let's let this idle. Let me increase the idle speed and we'll see if this blinks. If the transmission blinks. It said it will blink if it gets out of range to 115. So I'm gonna just try to get this transmission up to 115. I don't know if I can do it sitting here idling. It's not very hot out right now, so if I can get it to do that, I will show you guys, and we'll prove again that the other range is correct. That should start blinking when it gets above 115 according to this manual. All right, we can see that the automatic transmission oil temp light is now blinking, and our scan gauge shows that we're at 114. So I'm going to say there's a plus or minus error here of a degree or so, and that matches exactly what this set of directions tells us, that if it gets at 115 or higher, then it's going to start blinking and it's too hot to check, because it needs to be between 97 and 115. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shut the engine off. All right, so what have we learned here? Well, we've learned that at least for this truck, the factory service manual, the directions, I'm going to assume were revised. They're not correct anymore. So here's what I would suggest. Let me get out of this truck, and I'm going to talk to you guys a recap real quick. All right, so just excuse the noise. I've got people out there, they're cutting in the rain across the street. So just to recap, I think the best, if you're unsure of which temperature to check because of the conflicting directions, if you will use the procedure where you jump the pens that I showed you, if you'll jump those pens and let the truck tell you what temperature it wants to have the transmission checked at, you'll be perfectly fine. Fortunately, the directions I was given at first were the correct ones, because that's exactly what the truck wanted to be checked at. Now, what is weird is that obviously this truck was built in 2006. So has it always wanted to be? That's why I don't understand why the factory service manual is different. Who knows? Maybe a software update the truck had changed the parameters. I don't know. But all I know is that if you will follow, for your Toyota, if you will follow the direction to jump it and use the automatic transmission light to tell you what temperature to check it at, then you will be fine. Now, I did use my handheld infrared scanner gun and check the pan. The pan is about, the temperature is going to lag a little bit just from heat, the movement from the fluid to the pan, so it's going to lag a little bit behind, a degree or two behind. But again, if you're not really sure what's the real number, then checking it at the pan doesn't matter. So if you will just verify by using the procedure and let the automatic transmission gauge light tell you when it's good and when it's not good, and you just measure it, and then you'll know for future reference. So hopefully there's not a lot of people out there that were using the factory manual to do this, because you will have gotten rid of a little bit too much fluid. So I would go back and check that, because the hotter the transmission fluid gets, the more it expands. And if you checked it at 130 or so, 129, then you will have let out a little bit too much fluid due to the expansion. So anyway, I hope this helped. I hope it wasn't too confusing. The procedure on these sealed transmissions, it's just dumb. I don't know why they couldn't just put dipstick in here, but anyway, if you'll just follow that one procedure, and I think you'll be all right. So I am going to do another video. I'm going to be dumping the transmission fluid out again, and we'll be doing a flush, or an exchange, not a flush, but I'm going to be doing that again probably, I don't know, maybe a month or so. So watch for that. But I'm going to put this video out, and hopefully it will help you guys that are doing this transmission or any other Toyota sealed transmission. You will be able to find out what your particular vehicle needs as far as the range. So, all right guys, I will talk to you on the next video.